Weather for Weather Geeks is back. We had a night off last evening. I had some technical difficulties here. I continue to have some computer issues this evening, but we're going to make this work anyway. Welcome back to the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast, everyone. We're in the middle of a pretty quiet stretch of weather. No big barn burners out there, no big severe weather outbreaks coming up, no big landfalling hurricanes coming to the U.S., but we can always find interesting stuff to talk about. So let's get right to it. Our forecast today was a good one, both on the low temperature side and the high temperature side. 53 was the low this morning, 81 was the high today, and actually that was our forecast, 53 and 81, so we get a zero error day today, and our latest accuracy streak is up to 7 days. Accurate meaning within 2 degrees. 3 degrees, that's old news. That's for wimps. 2 degrees is our guarantee, if you will. We don't always hit it. As you can see, we're running at 71%. Let me get my head out of the way. 71% accuracy so far in 2017. That's pretty good. I'd like it to be closer to 80, but still, to be within 2 degrees, 7 out of 10 days is pretty good. Not bad. All right, so far August has been a lot different than last year. Last year was a hot August. Pretty much from start to finish, it was hot. We had a couple of 90-degree days. We had a lot of 85 to 89-degree days last August. And through the first 8 days of the month, in other words, through yesterday, the average temperature last year was 73.3. That counts highs and lows, of course. This year, we're running about 5 degrees cooler than the same period last year. So it's been a much, much different start to the month of August. And we'll take a look at the longer range in a minute. Still don't really see any signs of any significant heat coming our way anytime soon. All right, we had a great pass of the International Space Station last evening. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, an even better one this evening. And of course, I'll remind everyone on social media as we get a little closer to this at 9:37 this evening. We'll get a flyby of the space station in our visibility for 5 minutes, appearing in the northwest sky, disappearing east-southeast sky, and it reaches a maximum elevation pretty high, 71 degrees. Remember, 90 degrees is straight above our heads, so 71 degrees is pretty high in the sky. All right, let's take a broad view of the U.S. this evening, and again, not a whole lot of terribly interesting things here. Scattered showers and storms down in the deep south, hit or miss thunderstorm action out in parts of the Rockies and in Northern California, parts of Oregon. Some of the quietest weather across the whole country, actually, is across our sector of the U.S., where very little is going on this Wednesday evening. Even the temperature map is kind of ho-hum. You know, for the middle of August, there's not a lot of heat across the country. 109 in Phoenix, that's not a big deal to them. 105 in Vegas. Dallas, 90 degrees on August afternoon. Hey, they're practically opening up the windows in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And, you know, New Orleans, 85. Mobile, Alabama, 84. You know, it's just not very hot for the middle of August in a lot of places across the U.S. Big picture for tomorrow looking like this, 79 our forecast tomorrow. Our average high is still 81, so we'll be close to that. And we're hitting the 14-hour mark in terms of daylight. We're losing about 2 minutes and 15 seconds of daylight per day now. And I mentioned on 21 News at 6, we're now into what we call solar autumn, which is basically the 3 months of the year in which we lose daylight at the most rapid pace, from now through the first week of November. In other words, 6 weeks on either side of the first day of autumn, of the equinox. That's the 3-month period in which we lose daylight at the fastest rate all year long. All right, tomorrow's going to be a little bit of a different day. I think we'll start with sun. It'll get kind of cloudy in the afternoon. There could be a shower, outside chance of a thunderstorm here and there afternoon tomorrow. Don't think it's much. A lot of us will get away dry. Pretty cloudy tomorrow night. Now, Friday promises to be a little bit sunnier, I suspect, but also perhaps a somewhat better chance of a shower and thunderstorm in your backyard. It might take until pretty late in the day with the approach of this weak front. There could be a couple of cells roaming around dinner time on Friday. This weak front slides east. I think behind it, it's not going to be cooler, but we'll get some drier air starting to filter in on Saturday. Dew points will probably start pretty elevated on Saturday and then slowly retreat as we get into the afternoon. And I continue to carry a small chance of a shower or a storm on Saturday. It's a 30% kind of a thing at this point. So if you have outdoor plans on Saturday, keep them. Just stay apprised of the forecast. There might be a couple of hit or miss showers and storms out there as we start the weekend. All right, let's take a look at the longer range. And what I'm going to do here is start talking a little bit about the eclipse and the weather. Now, we're still 12 days away from the eclipse. And certainly it's far too early for any sort of detailed forecast. It's too early. But we can look at the overall pattern, what's being shown on the models, and what does the pattern mean for the potential for storminess or cloud cover. Here's a look at the European ensemble model for the day of the eclipse, the Monday the 21st. And what we're seeing here, a general pattern of kind of a trough on the west coast, a ridge poking up across the middle of the country, and then just sort of a broad northwest flow regime across the Great Lakes and the Northeast. This could be good news in that we could have kind of a dry air mass around in this sort of a jet stream configuration. And that could be good news for cloud cover. It doesn't look that hot. There's not going to be a ridge, it looks like, parked over the eastern U.S., causing it to be hot and humid with spotty thunderstorms and temperatures in the lower 90s. Doesn't look like that kind of pattern on the European model. Here's the GFS. Actually, both models in pretty decent agreement for 12 days out. You've got, let's see if I can clear this. Can I clear this? Well, let me clear it. You've got, I'll just have to draw over my other drawings. You got a trough on the west coast. You got kind of a ridge in the middle of the country, and kind of a gentle northwest flow across a lot of the Great Lakes. Now, this says to me that it'll be hot and dry out in the plain states. And in this kind of pattern, it's very conceivable that we could have a dry, generally sunny day. That's a possibility. I don't see any storminess that's obvious on the models. I also don't see, any sort of landfalling tropical system that would spread some clouds in from the east. So, for 12 days out, I kind of like what I see as far as what the modeling is showing. And we're hoping, of course, for a very sunny day. All right, what about the rest of the longer range? I mentioned at the beginning of the video, not too many signs out there of any sort of sustained heat, it looks like, for this August. And don't see anything new on the modeling either. These are the temperature anomalies on the European model. Here's early next week. Notice the blues and the greens, cooler than average temperatures, fairly common in a lot of the eastern U.S. And then as we go out to day 9 and day 10, this is the following weekend. So here's the 18th and 19th. Compared to average, the big anomalies are up here in Canada. So that doesn't look like a hot pattern. And as we go farther than that and out into the last 10 days of August, here's the eclipse day. Here's the couple of days after the eclipse. This looks warmish to me, but it certainly doesn't look super hot. Again, the big anomalies are up here in Canada. Wish I could clear. There we go. Just took me a couple of hits of the escape key. It looks like a hot pattern up in Canada, but just not seeing any sort of signal on much of the modeling that we're going to get into some sort of pattern that we were in last August. Maybe this will change just in time for the Canfield Fair. It usually does. So we'll see what transpires as we get a little bit closer to that. I'll have more on eclipse weather hints tomorrow on Weather for Weather Geeks. Tomorrow is actually the last Weather for Weather Geeks we're going to get until the day of the eclipse, because I'm on vacation starting on Friday. So be sure and tune in tomorrow evening for one more look at possible weather. And then, of course, you're going to be checking in with Jess and Andrew all week next week for weather updates. And you know me, I can't really unplug completely. I'll chime in a few times, of course, on social media, and I'll also be posting some videos and some eclipse information on my social media channels, even though I'm on vacation next week. All right, thanks again for watching. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 11. Have a great night, everyone.